T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I am the tiger, dancing through the fire. I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Good evening, everyone. I am Michelle Cooper, your host at Money Rockstars live radio show. And my guest tonight is Flora. Welcome, Flora.
Hi. Thanks for having me on, Michelle.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So, Flora, let me tell you a little bit about Flora. Flora is a dream igniter. And this gal has good dreams. She's a moon circle priestess, and one that I have personally experienced, and so powerful. She's a spiritual life and business coach, and she helps soulful entrepreneurs and executive leaders with mindset, marketing, and magic. I feel like that's all you need: mindset, marketing, and magic.
Right?
If you can get all that together, like, you've got gold. Okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's where it's at for me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Laura.
Sure. Well, I live in beautiful BC, Canada, a few hours away from you, darling. And I live with my wife and our 4-year-old son. And my wife and I are actually in business together. We are the strength and soul. She's the strength. I'm the soul, as it goes.
So good.
Yeah, and I really stumbled into coaching by way of women's circles, because I have been attending women's circles for many moons. My first one was in 1993. I was a young teenager. And over the years, that remained a big part of my spirituality and my path. And I then began leading circles because I wanted there to be circles. So, sometimes you need to get things started yourself. And it was a couple of years ago that I discovered that spiritual life coaching and business coaching, and I have a career background in marketing, in the arts, and communications, development, all of that. And so I really suddenly realized that what I was doing was a thing that I could make a career out of.
Right?
Yeah, and so it's been a beautiful journey. Of course, lots of challenges on the way. I wouldn't have it any other way, though. And so really bringing together my spirituality and my business background and my gift as a sacred space holder, whether it's just two of us in a one-on-one session or it's a virtual circle of many women from all over the world. So that's a little bit of me and what I do.
I love it. And I can promise my listeners that Flora has some hidden talents she's not sharing. She is an incredible coach to help you navigate your spirituality, your witchcraft, your connection to magic within your business. And that's what she helped me do. Yeah, like the time that we spent together, we were in Arizona together at an event, and that was a little bit of an intensive kind of, I need to understand how to put this in my business. Help me, Flora.
Yeah. Yes. And it's true, because I see often that some people are missing the other side of it. They're either very spiritual, and that's no question, or they're, a strong healer. And they're missing how to put the structure into their business, or how to really market themselves, how to make money from their spiritual gifts or their healing gifts. Or else you see people that are on the other side that are all about systems and structure and great at what they do on the other side, but they themselves feel that they're missing in at least sharing that there's more to them, that they have a spiritual side, whatever that is. And so bringing them together so that you can be really authentic in who you are. For me, I really believe that brings business success, because people feel your energy. And certainly in this day and age, you really have like only a few seconds to capture someone, and so much of that is on the energetic level. It's not just the slick copy, and it's not the the perfect selfie. Even people that aren't aware of energy and being empathic or anything, we are all picking up on that energy. And so that's why that side of the work that you do is really important in attracting the right clients and opportunities to you.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's almost not even about the slick Instagram image anymore, right? Like, I think there was a time for that, and I think it's kind of moved beyond that at this point, right? Yeah. It's very much a connection, an energetic connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that when listening, if think about the people that you are really, it's like you really want to open up every email, or whenever you do stop scrolling when you see their post or their picture on whatever social media. What is it about them? What is it? It's that intangible quality that you resonate with them, their message, what I call, their medicine that they're bringing, and you have such a medicine too, and there's just that connection, and that's the intangible energetic stuff that that sometimes gets overlooked, and yet, like you said, it's so important.
So important, and it's the feeling, right? Like, you can be scrolling through Facebook or whatever and fly past a whole bunch of people, and then there's that person that you will stop at, like you said, and it's because you have a connection and there's a feeling there that you're like, oh, I like this person, or I like what they say, or I'm interested, and it makes me feel a certain way, and that feeling is usually a high frequency feeling. Right? Yeah,
absolutely. And it could also do with that what I think is that so often the other people that we are attracted to, it's we see our own, like we see our higher potential in other people all the time. And then if it's someone that's actually triggering you in a more negative sense, there's something in you, in them. Something in you that bugs you about yourself is most likely what's bugging you about them.
Absolutely.
So everyone's a mirror.
We had that conversation recently, right? I was
yes.
like, I'm just going to make you aware that this is a mirror.
Yes. Yeah, always.
Yeah, always. And, just being aware of judgment of yourself, judgment of other people, like all of that, right? That gets in the way of the energetic connection, I think, a lot of times. So tell us a little bit about the 777 activation.
Yeah, I'd love to. So 7s have always been my lucky number, my magic number, and I was born in 1977 and just always had 7s, and I started exploring and understanding the chakra system again many, many moons ago. And it was a couple of years ago that my understanding dropped in at another level, as it were, about connecting our chakra centers with the 7 primary feminine archetypes. So there's a lot of different archetype systems out there. Probably a lot of people are familiar with the traditional Jungian system, because Carl Jung was the first psychologist to put forward in a big way the whole concept of archetypes. And just to quickly define what an archetype is, in case anyone's not totally sure, it is essentially a behavioral pattern that resides in us. Like, archetypes are expressed through us. So they don't belong to any individual, and they don't belong to any period of time, and they don't belong to any particular location. So they transcend time, location, and the individual. And in my exploration of feminine archetypes, I really synthesized what I felt was the 7 primary ones. And then one day it was like, right, and they all connect to 7 different chakra centers. So as I've been moving my work forward through my business and through working with, many women, most of them spiritual entrepreneurs like yourself, there's a real richness in that information, because we tend to have 2 strongest archetypes, 1 or 2 of our strongest that we express. And then where the real gold is in understanding what our shadow archetype is. And that's our least expressed. And why is that archetype the least expressed? It doesn't mean that we are that isn't us. In fact, it very much is us, but we don't let that expression out very often. So this kind of archetypal psychology for anyone, but if we're talking about women in business, because I'm talking about the feminine archetypes, this really makes a big difference to your leadership and how you lead your business, run your business, certainly your marketing, your voice, your authentic voice in your marketing copy. And it's also a really rich and beautiful way for you to understand your clients in a new way, understanding their archetype. What matters to them? How can you speak to their values and what drives them if you understand what their archetype is?
Ooh, that's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's the process you take people through?
Yeah, so, if I get the chance one-on-one, we do a whole assessment. There's an individual assessment, but I will give you the rundown since we are talking about it. In the root chakra is the maiden archetype. And as women, that is our original expression, right? When we were young girls and young women, of the maiden archetype. She's very creative. And then in the sacral chakra is the mother archetype, which is a big one, right? And I love to use the mother archetype in examples because everyone can understand that archetype.
Right.
And so in our sacral and our sex center, that is where we give birth to new projects, to new ideas, to human babies, of course, but more importantly than the birth, even the mother's nurture life, right?
Right.
A mother's job isn't done when the birth is over, right? In fact, it's only begun.
Oh, if it only was.
Yeah. So the mother is the nurturer and nurtures life, nurtures projects, nurtures ideas. In the solar plexus chakra, one of my favorites, we have the wild woman. And
I like her.
Yes, that's one that you and I have connected over. So the wild woman is a natural leader. She's a trailblazer. She's independent. She's fierce. She's powerful. She knows her own power. So the solar plexus, and interestingly, a lot of the women I work with have a wild woman shadow. That's their shadow. They want to be leaders, but that's their least expressed archetype as the wild woman.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. And so then in the heart, no surprise here, but we have the healer, and the healer embodies the gifts of compassion, forgiveness, and is again another nurturer business archetype of the healer. So that's a big one. I work with a lot of healers, with a wild woman shadow. Actually. Wow. They want, so how can you be a healer and a leader as well, like bringing that shadow archetype out.